So in this video, I'm going to review for you the Squirt wax lube versus just a standard finish line dry lube. So what I did to review this is I have two bikes. I have a cyclocross bike and a road bike. And what I did was, to be fair, I only changed one bike. Now, one of the bikes that I had, my Lube, I have a Shimano chain. It had about 1,000 miles on it. And so what I did was I thoroughly cleaned the chain because I've been using normal wax on it for about 1,000 miles. So what I did is I just used some Simple Green and a Park Tool chain cleaner. I'll put links down below. And what I did is I thoroughly degreased the chain. I did it multiple times. I cleaned it with hot burning soapy water. I cleaned it with a degreaser. I made sure that chain was totally dry. And then what I did was I used a KMC Link. So I used some of these links. I got these online. I'll put a link down below so that I could take the chain on and off a lot easier, because a Shimano chain, you need a pin. It's kind of a pain in the neck to do. It's actually no big deal, but for the most part, I just use these. And I'll make another video about these, but these KMC links can be used on a Shimano chain. So I use those. So then what I did is I put the wax on, and the difference really between the normal oil and the wax is the oil goes on obviously very oily. This stuff goes on like toothpaste. And so what I did is I put it on my chain, I waited about 10-15 minutes, and then I reapplied more of this wax lube, and then I let it dry for a day before I went out on a ride. So I've been riding my Lube for about 4 or 5 weeks or so. I probably put about 600 miles on my Lube, and I also rode my other bike, of which I kept the oil on that, the normal standard dry lube. And what I noticed was at first, when I used this, I noticed a little bit of noise with my chain, but then I reapplied some more lube and that noise went away. One of the differences is the cleanliness of the chain. So I'm going to show you, both chains are clean right now. After every bike ride, what I do is I usually just take a rag and wipe down the chain. So let me show you the difference here. Look at the difference. So my middle finger here has the standard lube, and this is a clean chain. So if you've ever gotten that Cat 5 tattoo on the back of your calf, it gets pretty dirty. I wiped my finger the same amount on my other bike with the wax lube, and there's just nothing on it. So from a cleanliness point of view, that's a major difference. One difference that I've noticed by using this wax lube is it's supposed to save you watts and stuff like that, and I have to say, you know, I'm pretty in tune with my bikes, and there is a difference.
So, you know, they advertise that this lube is supposed to save you like 2 to 6 watts, and I think to myself, there's no way you could tell that. That's impossible. But you know what? Again, I'm kind of in tune with my bike, and I know when something feels off. And I don't know if it's placebo or not, but I really, you know, there's not a lot of products I think make a difference, but this lube, this wax lube, I feel that my chain is just smoother, and I could feel a difference.
When you do ride after a ride, it'll look like the chain is kind of dirty, but it's actually just the wax, and it just kind of flakes off. So what I do is after every ride, I just take a towel and just wipe down the chain. One of the things that's different about this product as opposed to a normal dry lube is usually after about once a month with my bikes, I'll usually degrease the chains and then reapply oil about once a week or about every 100 miles or so. With this, you don't actually degrease the chain. You actually just clean the chain off with a rag and then reapply the wax oil, or the wax, which is kind of unusual. But over this past 4 or 5 weeks, I've noticed it really doesn't make a difference. And my drivetrain is a lot cleaner. my rear cogs are a lot cleaner, and the chain seems to be doing well. Time will tell if this stuff actually makes your components last longer, because I've only been using it for about 4 or 5 weeks. Now there are some other videos showing how to properly wax a chain, where you take the chain off and you put it in, you ultrasound clean the chain. Then what you do is you'll cook the chain basically in some paraffin wax and candle wax, and that might be an even better way, but to me, for my life, that just seems too cumbersome to be cleaning the chain every 150, 200 miles. I like this stuff because basically you just wipe down the chain after every ride, and then you just reapply the wax. It seems like a no-brainer. It's no different than actually just applying the regular oil.
If there's any disadvantage of the wax lube versus the dry lube, I would say the cost. The cost is more expensive, and that can be a factor for some people. I'll put a link down below on Amazon for the Squirt wax lube if you want to try it. So I'm about halfway through my ride. I've done about 32 miles, 50-ish kilometers, and let me show you. So far I've been riding, it's a dry day, it's a little windy, and there is some dust coming up, so I'm gonna just take my finger. I'm gonna run my finger underneath the chain, just like that, and look at that. So there's just not a lot of oily substance on my chain. And then just call it a day. By the way, I'm on Grimes Canyon and Broadway. This is a great place to ride because it's in the heart of Somis, and there's just usually nothing here except maybe an occasional car or tractor and cyclists, and sometimes people on motorcycles, but it's a great place to ride.
So in summary, I think I'm going to continue to use the wax-based chain lube. I think once I'm done with the chain on my cyclocross bike, because I was doing a comparison, when I get a new chain, I'm going to basically just degrease the chain, make sure it's clean, and just start using wax as my new lubricant. If you thought this video was interesting, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, you can ask in the comment section below. Also, I'm a doctor of chiropractic. If you have any questions regarding chiropractic treatment, go to the proper video and ask questions regarding that. And also, I have other cycling videos, so you can check in my playlist area, go to cycling, and I've got lots of videos about cycling in Southern California.